Hello and welcome back to Spherical Chicken in a Vacuum. I'll be totally honest with you. I don't think I'm going to make many new friends today because I will speak about something that is really polarizing. And polarizing things tend to be, how can I say, discussed with a certain energy, let's say. I'm speaking about MDPI. And first of all, a disclaimer. I do publish on MDPI. Not often, just from time to time, when I got one of those vouchers for publishing for free, or when I have enough like points, how is that called? Well, amount credits to publish for free without paying anything. I think it's a convenient way to publish your research on open access if your institute doesn't have a big doesn't have a budget to support your publishing. And this paper in particular was published on the Christmas Day, I think, of last year, and it got like 70 citations in 1 year, which is incredible, an incredible amount for biomedical materials and for materials in general. It's much better than the average performance of one of my papers, and it's published on MDPI, which, well, many of us think is not a reliable publisher. So, full disclaimer, I am biased because I had previous experiences with MDPI. I have also negative experiences with MDPI, but those experiences, in a way, changed my opinion on the topic. And I want to be 100% clear with you from the beginning. There are biases. I don't know if they are big or small, that it's up to you to decide, but I do have my own biases. Probably starting from like 2018 when I received a lot of emails from NDPI and I had a really bad opinion of NDPI at the time, but I'm getting ahead of myself. Let's start from this guy. I don't know if you know who this smiley guy he is. He is Xu Kunling. I'm sorry for my Chinese friends if I butcher the pronunciation. Is a chemist who graduated in Wuhan University. Sorry again. In 1982. Then he got his PhD at the University of Zurich. That we all know it's quite a good university, right? Then in 1996 he founded MDPI in Basel, so still in Switzerland, but different place. And things things started there. MDPI stands for Multidisciplinary Digital Publishing Institute, and the digital part stands for the fact that MDPI does not publish print journals, does not print off paper anymore. Well, many other journals don't use physical copies of the journals anymore. So everything in MDPI is online in PDF format for everyone to download, and it's multidisciplinary, meaning that they cover basically all fields of science. I don't know, chemistry, medicine, mathematics, etc., archaeology. And everything started with only one journal, which was called, I think, Molecules. And nowadays, Molecules still has a decent impact factor. 4.2 for chemistry is not that bad. And this started because Lin was interested in open access. And all of NDPI journals are open access since 2008. By 2015, NDPI had more than 100 journals, which is sort of a big step in just a few years, right? And after that, in I think 2014, so 1 year before actually, NDPI was flagged as a potential predatory publisher by Jeffrey Beal, which I don't know if this is the correct pronunciation. Again, this time it's not Chinese, but still, it's very difficult for me to pronounce. Which is the creator of the list where nowadays you can find a lot of predatory journals and predatory publishers. If I remember well, he was in charge of the library of his university, of his institute, and he started to take notes about predatory publishers, so publishers that don't follow deontological rules, don't follow ethical rules on publishing. And this list became famous internationally, so much so that a lot of people still checks this list that nowadays I think is not even maintained by him anymore, to check if a journal or a publisher is a predatory, suspected predatory, or is a legit business. Okay? MDPI has been removed from the list after some community debates, because yes, he was put in the list, but it seems that there was no concrete proof that I think it was the peer review, that the peer review was not performed correctly. So there was suspects, but the scientific community asked to remove MDPI from the list of potentially predatory publishers. Again, this doesn't tell us much if it is or not a predatory publisher at this point, but I just want you to know that the scientific community has been discussing on this for a long time. And MDPI has been growing since, and now it counts more than 400 journals, which is a pretty decent list. It's almost as big as larger publishers. And a lot, almost all of them are indexed in Web of Science of Scopus. Okay, there is a lot of discussion, there are a lot of journals that have retractions, etc., but still a lot of what MDPI produces is indexed on these websites. And again, these websites don't really discriminate between good and bad stuff. They sort of give some general rules that the journals have to follow in order to be put on this list, but it's not a guarantee way to find a good, reliable scientific journal. Okay, let's move on. The real question here is if MDPI is actually a predatory publisher or not. And to be defined a predatory publisher, there are basically four main rules. First rule being lack of proper peer review. Now, for MDPI, there's a lot of discussion on the quality of the peer review. A lot of authors claim that the quality of the peer review in MDPI is lower compared to other publishers, which is probably true. I mean, there is a Gaussian distribution of quality probably, and the average value of MDPI maybe is lower than other things, for example, Nature. But the peer review is still there. It is done by scientists. Scientists receive requests for peer review from NDPI, and it's also somehow transparent. So maybe it's not extremely high standards as an average. Again, depends on the journal, etc., but the peer review is there. Second point is if they do policies like aggressive solicitation, if they write you a ton of emails and spam, etc., asking you to publish. And yes, that clicks. Yes, absolutely. I remember in 2018, I received, I think, 53 requests to be a guest editor for MDPI journals. And if you don't reply, they insist. And when they are interested in you, they can be a little stressing actually, because they send a lot of emails, a lot of solicitations. They give you short deadlines to reply to their request, etc., and all of this is aggressive marketing, which checks for predatory behavior. Then the third point is about misleading claims. These misleading claims can be anything, but more often than not is about fake impact factors or fake other indexes to prove that the journal is what it is actually not. And I searched a lot in the web and I couldn't find some anything really misleading. I mean, there is some bold claims, but still in the borders of normal marketing, I guess. I see the similar stuff from Elsevier or Springer or Wiley. So I don't think this can be listed as misleading claims. They don't claim that their journals have higher impact factors, or they don't claim that the journals are leaders in the specific area. So I don't think this checks. And the last one is fast publication times. And oh shit, this is a disaster. You submit a paper in just a few days. The editor already sends the paper to the reviewers. I never saw the paper get desk rejected. That never happened to me. I don't know if it happens in MDPI. And the reviewers have few days, usually 1 week, and they can be extended up to 10 days to review. And that is usually not enough because, I mean, you have a life. And in the weekend, you don't want to spend your time reviewing the paper of other scientists, then you have your classes, etc. Still, you want that juicy, nice discount for your publishing, so you are sort of compelled and pushed to try to do a faster review of a paper that more often than not least do a poor peer review. I mean, that's not the best standard to get high quality peer reviews, right? So fast publication times, it checks. 2 out of 4. Is it enough to define MDPI predatory? In my opinion, not. Especially since the lack of proper peer review is maybe the strongest point of the 4. And if it's not predatory, then why is MDPI seen as a bad publisher? And it's basically for 3 reasons. First of all, the somehow low publishing standards. This is something we can discuss, but usually the scientific community is not just my opinion. I mean, it's the shared opinion in the scientific community that publishing in MDPI is easy, and the reviewers kinder than the other journals. And what comes out of the MDPI is not a high quality paper that is more often than not has not been checked by a real professional academic editor with experience. A lot of people that works as an editor from MDPI is young or doesn't have such a long outstanding career. This is the general opinion that the standards, both of the published material and the reviews, are sort of low. Then there is the matter of the editorial boards. The editorial boards of MDPI can have hundreds of names on, and more often than not, again, they are young scientists or scientists with not such a high reputation, international reputation, to be listed as an editor for any other publisher or for more famous publishers. There's a lot of young people. There's a lot of sort of end career people that never really shined in their field, and especially there's so many names. So people, when people read the editorial boards of these journals searching for some outstanding scientist that can sort of guarantee for the quality of the journal, they often don't find anyone. Hundreds of names, but of people that they never heard about before. And this model, actually, this is sort of funny. This is starting to spread because even in Springer, Elsevier, Wiley, etc., the editorial boards are growing and growing and growing, especially in middle tier and low tier journals, and with young scientists and scientists with little experience, scientists that are not really famous, etc., because they are giving these editorial board positions as sort of prizes somehow, and as a they're using the using these positions as leverage to obtain favors, basically free work from academics. And an overall bad reputation because of the marketing strategies, because of the amount of errors, retractions, etc. Well, it's not so high actually, but they spread faster when it's MDPI because this is the new guy. So people is used to other editors and they have sort of bias towards MDPI maybe, or maybe MDPI actually did a lot of bad stuff at the beginning or is still doing it now. But the point is, scientists see MDPI as an editor, not every scientist. A part of the scientific community sees MDPI as a bad publisher with a bad reputation. Again, let me stress on this point. Not all the scientific community, but a lot of scientists have this opinion of NDPI. And this kind of opinion is sort of hard to shake. Okay, then let's do something that I love. Let's put everything in a graph, okay? First of all, two axes, and the axes are rejection rates and impact factor. And for once, we'll be using impact factor as it was supposed to be used. So it's sort of index for how much a journal is famous, how much a journal is cited. That has nothing to do with the quality. This is just a pure marketing tool, if you want. And it was supposed to be used like this. It was supposed to help libraries decide which journals to subscribe to. Okay, without thinking about the quality of the content. Let's put a line here that I will call reputation line, and it's a line that shows that it should be a proportional relationship between how much journal is strict and how much famous it is, ideally. It's absolutely not true. It's just to give us some reference inside of the graph. Okay. Here in the bottom left corner, we have an area that I call Hic sunt leones. Hic sunt leones is Latin for there are lions here, which is the area in which most of the predatory publishers, predatory journals, and low-level journals are. Some of these journals are legit journals that just started, or they are having a very hard time, but a lot of the things that are here are pure garbage. On the opposite side, we have the heavy hitters like Nature, Science, Lancet, etc. These are journals in which, if you can publish even just one paper in some of these journals, you can make a career out of it. You can get a job just because you have one or two papers published on these heavy hitters. Okay, so high reputation, high rejection rate, high impact factor, la creme de la creme, the best of the best. And here we have the area where nowadays we have a lot of mega journals and similar things that are generalistic. They have very low rejection rates. They are open access, so they try to attract people and make people pay for publishing, and they still have a pretty decent impact factor, even if they are not so selective and the quality is considered to be not so high. Okay, and then here is my favorite area, which is the niche. So very specific journals that only publish very high quality stuff, but no one cares because very few people work in the field, so they don't get cited at all, even if they are extremely nice and extremely high quality. And inside of this graph, I think you can guess where MDPI stands as a publisher, somewhere here. So it shares the area of the mega journals and shit if you want. Actually, MDPI somehow predated mega journals because they are the ones that started to be so multidisciplinary and with such high acceptance rate or low rejection rates. So it stands here in the middle, a little out of the Higgs und Leones area, or maybe some MDPI journals are actually inside of that area, but they don't pretend to be niche, they don't pretend to be heavy hitters. Even the very specific journals of NDPI are never really niche because the rejection rate are sort of low compared to what I would call a niche journal. So it stands there in the limbo between other journals. They share a lot in common with mega journals like, I don't know, Scientific Reports or Helion, things like this. Okay? Actually, they were born to stay there because they saw an opportunity. There was an opportunity, a market here in the middle. And this leads us to our last question. So, what is MDPI? What is the MDPI? What is the point of this presentation? Well, the point is that MDPI is not actually just an editor, but it's a strategy. It's a marketing strategy. They they generic they. I'm not saying Lean because Lean is the one that started, but now there's other people involved that they saw the marketing opportunity and they produce a product for that specific marketing opportunity. And the product works because they make profit. Because MDPI is the company that needs to make profit. So we shouldn't look so much at the editor because inside of MDPI, if you open the box of MDPI, you find 400 and plus journals. And journals have different standards, different qualities, etc. So we should not judge MDPI as a whole, even if it falls in that area. Okay. So we open the box, there are journals, we take the journal, and again, it's not even about the journal because science should be about the single papers. And maybe we take a MDPI journal, I don't know, molecules, and there are inside 40 papers, and 35 are so, and 5 are excellent. So we should be able to judge the single paper, and it's difficult because we don't have the time to start to read everything. So we tend to put a label on the journal, or even a label on the editor, and claim this is garbage, this is nice, this is excellent, etc. But in the end, it's a statistic, right? We cannot be sure that everything is garbage or everything is good. Even Nature publishes garbage. Even not even MDPI, even lower level editors publish nice papers. It's so complicated, but I need at least to accept that the problem is not NDPI as a whole. They saw a marketing opportunity. They are a company. They make a profit. One problem is that we let companies control the market of scientific publishing. There's very few publishers that are not for profit. That is a problem. Another problem is that we don't have time to screen everything, but to label and to say everything that's published here is garbage, and this editor is garbage, etc. That is not a scientific approach to things. Okay, so just my opinion. In my opinion, that is not a scientific approach to it. We should judge single papers. Editors have different strategies, and if an editor exists, it's because there is a need somehow, especially if they are for profit. So if we want to clean up the garbage, we should start to think that this system is getting old and we should think of something else. But don't blame MDPI, especially because after MDPI was born, even other publishers, famous publishers, started to follow the model of MDPI. So you see, the corruption is there. Maybe I don't know if MDPI is a corruption or not, but that model inspired actually older publishers that are now sort of following. So again, it's about it's about research, it's about single papers, and it's too difficult to do, and that's why we like to label things and put them in the trash. Well, if you have any comment, please use the comment section and let's discuss about it. I would want to do an update on this video, so let me know your opinion, okay? See you next time.